we're back with the question and answer session, or after dark section of the captain's table, where we take questions from the audience, specifically about Star Citizen, about the topic or we just discussed, or just in general. The topic we just discussed was 4.0.2, its direction, and if it's sort of sustainable. Is it good, and is it sustainable going forward? I am, of course, joined by Axis0096, Yo-Yo Meg, and Fastcart. I'm going to play that that preview one more time, because I do also want to mention that, pull this up,
Why you bringing that up? I'm just happy that you call it After Dark, because, that way it can be Black History Month all year round.
There we go. Yeah, you want me to pull the cringe, the cringe white person and be like, but Fastcart, every month is Black History Month.
Every month is Fastcart Month. I like that one too. I like that even better. You can do both.
Every month is Fastcart Month. All right, so if you missed the first one, I'll say this again. There is a group of people, not just myself. I'm one of the people who's sponsoring it, but it's myself. Fastcart's been part of it. Griffin Gaming has been has been the point man for it, but Grim from Star Jump and Serious Fun. There's been a lot of folks in the U.S. based community who have been trying to put together a event similar to like BCon or some of the other kind of international events or non-US based events for the community. We call it Quantum Vegas 2955 will be available. It'll be coming on July 12th. I'm going to give you a little bit of a preview here so you can see what it's like. This is a teaser, and tickets will be on sale soon.
Quantum Vegas 2955 is a community celebration of the Star Citizen universe, uniquely designed to immerse attendees in the creative and technical brilliance of the game. Hosted in the unparalleled conference environment of Area 15 in Las Vegas, Nevada, this inaugural event offers direct access to developers from Cloud Imperium Games, influential community leaders, as well as other Star Citizen backers. This event offers interactive sessions with special guests covering the complexity of game development to community-driven experiences in a unique and intimate setting. Quantum Vegas 2955 is more than a convention. It's an immersive gateway into the Star Citizen legacy, an unmissable highlight on the gaming calendar. Quantum Vegas 2955, by the community, for the community.
That went way better this time.
Yeah, a lot better this time. So yeah, July 12th, 2025. The tickets will be on sale soon. They're going to be a kind of a gradual rollout. So the first, if you get your tickets in there early, they'll be $75, and they get more expensive the later you wait. So once they go on sale, which is soon, they should be for the first month or so $75. Then after that, it'll be $99, and then after that, it'll be $125 to show up. So. Hopefully you join us. It's going to be a lot of discussions. There'll be panels. We have a thing called the Next Great Mission, where we kind of do a kind of 48-hour film festival thing where we task people to come up with their own missions and then pitch them to a panel of people at the end of the convention. So it's a good fun to have we're going to have conversations. Some members of CIG developments will be there, like Sean Tracy, Tyler Whitkin, and Galactica.
Don't give names yet.
They're in the video.
Yeah, don't give names yet.
Okay.
CIG, hopefully we'll be there.
We'll hopefully be there. We'll keep saying with
that's
that.
Better.
Yeah. Because we can't confirm, something could happen and anything could pop up. But these were names that have been floated, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have several members of CIG who have not necessarily 100% confirmed they'll be there, but but want to be there.
That was a great word.
Yeah, but it's for the community. It's just like kind of like if you can't make it to a Citizen Con, it would be a great sort of get together with a bunch of different people. It's co-sponsored by the Bar Citizen, International Bar Citizen. So there's going to be a Bar Citizen before. There's lots of cool stuff that's going to be going on.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note that this is for the community, by the community.
Mhm.
This is not PIG sponsored. They may
Nope.
participate, but this is mostly put together by the community. So yes, it's considered like one big bar citizen, except it's like huge instead of like a local bar
Yeah.
citizen. So we hope to see you there, and looking forward to it.
Yeah. It should be fun, and Area 15 is a fun place to go. It's unique. There's lots of other activities beyond just being there. So, and it's Vegas, so there's lots of stuff to do. With that all being said, let's get into the question and answer session. And I will mention that for Meg, because it's been a while since you've been here, and Fasker, you may not know this either. We have a question bot now. So if you go to the Captain's Table section on the Star Citizen Content Creators Discord we used to be the Captain's Table Discord, one of the sections under the request to be on the table is the question bot. And so it is automatically gathering questions. As long as you put the word question before your question, it will grab that from chat in YouTube or Twitch, and we'll be able to see it. But also the cast will be able to see it. So if I screw up on reading it, or if I don't quite understand reading it, they'll be able to read it and see those. So with that being said, let's get to the first question from Northern Trooper, who asked, question: I started up War Thunder after 6 years of hiatus. I realized I forgot the soul-crushing grind. But the grind for better ships in their respective keeps me going. Will or should Star Citizen have dedicated sections of a tech tree for blueprints or ships/vehicles? Yeah.
I think they will.
Yeah,
But I mean, I don't know how grindy it'll be. But yeah, that's what the guild system is supposed to be about, right?
Yeah, that's what the blueprint system is.
Right. So yeah, but
Yeah.
the question is how. I mean, like, how much you get? Like, I'm like getting level 1. I assume will be easy, but getting whatever the top tier level will be, who knows how long it'll take, or how much effort you have to put into it, and what's required. Hopefully it won't be like Asian MMO grindy. Not saying anything against Asian MMO. It just happened to be a grind fest a lot of times that I played them. So yeah, hopefully they won't be that bad. But yeah, I'm expecting some grinding. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a little bump and grind after all.
Ha. I think that's really the question. What Northern Trooper's trying to get at is like, how grindy is Star Citizen going to be? Meg, what do you think in terms of grind? How much do you hope or want or not want for grind for Star Citizen?
I hope it's insane, because I don't want to be done with the game in a week, a month, even a year.
Wow.
I mean, honestly, or else like what do I do? Start over? Hop to my second account? I don't know.
No.
It's the same with like just buying every ship in the game. There's definitely like other stuff that you can't buy, or I don't know right now, like space stations and all that good org stuff. But like honestly, already with contested zones, like I'm done. Like that's been out for like a couple weeks.
You've captured friggin' Corsair, like
we've gotten more too.
You know,
it's just like,
yeah.
What now? I just go back in and kill people now. So it's like, I mean, I still love contested zones. Like, don't get me wrong. And I don't know. It's just like, I do not want to feel like I completed the game too soon. I would love if it took forever. Even though I'm complaining about like the commodities taking a long time. It's just,
Well, it's different. Like the commodities thing.
Yeah, we're testing.
Yeah. Well, commodities also, you're waiting in line. Like you're just basically like, all right, I gotta wait for copper to show up. Whereas look, with your grinding, you're actually doing something.
Yeah.
You're actually out there playing the game. So
yeah. I mean, if it's anything like see, I also say that I don't even know if I can handle the grind too, because Warframe, I lasted like 2 days. I realized that a Warframe takes like 24 hours just for one part of the frame or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'm done. So I don't know. There's definitely, I think some things should take longer than others. How long that'll take, I don't know. We shouldn't have space. What are they? Sorry, we shouldn't have org space stations in a month. Yeah. I think that should take that should be end game, or I don't know what else they're gonna add to the game, but just stuff like that. If you've got hella people, sure, you might be able to rush that sucker, but I hope it's long, just for gameplay reasons.
Yeah.
I want to feel like I accomplished something by playing it is the key.
Yeah.
You know, like when you complete something, you're like, hey, I did it, instead of being like, oh, I did it. Like finally I did it. It took me so long to do it. Or just sort of being like, it's done. Here's my ship.
Yeah.
Like,
See, that middle one is like, I finally did it. I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
I don't want that. That's too much.
Axis, your thoughts on grind in Star Citizen? Should it happen? Should it not be? How bad should it be?
Well, hold on. Okay. I think I lost my camera. Crap. No, I didn't. There it is. Okay. Well, the grind I think should be a healthy middle.
Okay.
Shouldn't be too grindy, but at the same time rewarding. I mean, a lot of people complain about low, money input, low rewards, for like trading and everything else. And even combat missions don't exactly have great credit rewards,
Mhm.
And in the future, we know that there's going to be more than just financial rewards. There's going to be things like skins, and they're kind of dabbling with it already.
Yeah.
But it's definitely looking like there is some effort. I mean, if you would come and told me, what, 2 years ago, Paul, that we were going to have missions that would have physical rewards as opposed to credit rewards, I would have laughed at you. I would have laughed and said, "You're fooling. You're drunk, right? Go home." But
now we have regular
now we actually
events that have physical rewards attached to them. So
yeah, it's a different world.
All right. Next question comes from Shimpasta for FC specifically, who asks, question: since Fastcart said no BMM giveaway, does that mean you're giving away 2 BMMs?
No, and that doesn't mean 3, 4.
Yeah, follow-up question: 5?
Probably 5. What?
All right. Then Shimpasta then asks, oh no. Never mind. That's not a question. He was just reacting to you reading the question before. Carlos72 asks, should CIG have implemented player-to-player selling so that miners can stay mining and let the transporters do their stuff? You can already do that, sort of, though. So I understand the desire for player-to-player selling, because player-to-player selling means that you can legally own the thing you are purchasing, and that there is a process that can happen. But you can sort of already give people things and have them take off. I think you can remove the mineral bags. I might be wrong I thought you could detach the saddlebags with 4.0, but I could be wrong. Chat can tell me if I'm wrong or not. Because that's a different.
I heard about it. I don't know if it's in the game yet.
Because that's a different situation. Like selling your minerals to to a trader doesn't work if you can't actually detach those bags. Okay, so yes, you can. So
I think it's just that the bags in the elevator are a little wonky. I don't know if that's been fixed.
But yeah, that's another thing. It's like the elevator, the cargo elevator doesn't work with the bags, or it may be wonky with the bags. So, but you can send people through MoTrader money, and as long as they give them to you, there's no ownership on it. So, I think, but that's more of what you're asking for than than having those traders come back. It's just fixing that loop so that it makes sense. Axis, what do you think? Should CIG have implemented player-to-player selling so that miners can stay mining and let the transporters do their stuff?
That's a good question. I mean, we kind of have the money trading app, already. I don't see what the deal would be on some sort of commodities app between players, to kind of balance things out. I don't think it would be a minables app. They want to make it more utilitarian, like an overall commodities app or something. Like some sort of trade or swap or barter window, something like that. Like that one person said about Star Wars Galaxy, some sort of trade window other than credits. That'd be done for a banking app. So I think it would be a good idea, but I don't know if it could be done right now. You think
Okay.
there's some back end work that still needs to be done on it, Paul?
Almost
Something
certainly.
like that?
There's something weird in the back end that's preventing any of these sorts of that sort of idea of players being able to trade with each other in some sort of like legal way. There are some workarounds, and the Mo Trader thing I think works. But Meg, what do you think? Should CIG have implemented this first?
Yeah, I don't know about first. I feel like that's more of a dev background thingy. Like, there's
Yeah.
probably a reason, but I definitely think that it needs to be done
Okay.
at some point soon. But that's probably like there's probably just so much they have to do. I would assume. I don't know. Too complicated, or they have so many changes that could affect their initial, like their tier 0, and so to keep updating that versus just to wait, maybe is the logic. But yeah, what Axis was talking about, it would be amazing if we could have that.
Jin says I can mock up a window for player-to-player trade app right now. But I mean, it's more than just a window. It's also transferring ownership from one player to another, so that the thing that was you're purchasing is now legally yours. So you're not going to be marked as having stolen goods. And for me, it feels more of like a technical sort of limitation rather than just a UI implementation. But
You got to make sure the database does everything correctly. There's no duping. There's no way to exploit it.
Yeah. So I understand why they didn't do it, and they already still have some kind of way around it, sort of currently. But I like the idea of having a commodities trader where players can trade commodities with each other through an app of some kind. And just be like, hey, this is yours now, but you have to go to the station to pick it up, sort of thing. So. All right. Next question comes from Shimpasta, who asks, question, due to bugs or unplanned features, do you feel CIG should run missions throughout the main patch? For example, run all missions for 4.0 until 4.1 comes out instead of monthly or a point path.
I think it's
Go ahead.
I think it's okay for CIG to try this at the right now, so they can get a handle on it. Because in case they want to do something like this after 1.0, or sometime in the future, they have some experience to fall back on. But like we said before, 6 months to a year, they'll move on to try something else, in my opinion.
Okay. I think this idea of what they're doing is a good idea. I think the problem is the speed upon which they're trying to do these events is too fast.
Yeah.
They need to slow it down a little bit and give it 3 to 6 months for players to trickle in and play it.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
And on top of that, like because of the nature of how Star Citizen's buggy, some missions just won't work. And if they don't work, that already ruins the experience. So I personally would hope that anything that they do now is available later, like in the rundown to 1.0, where you run all these events again in another point. So it's none of this FOMO stuff. At that point, it would be FOMO because it would be the last time you could do it. Maybe change the rewards up so they're not the exact same rewards. So the people who have those original rewards are like, hey, I was here. I got this cool little thing. Neat. Because I know people are against FOMO events, but like, that's how MMOs function these days.
Right.
There are plenty of events that are one time only, or they're timed or whatever. That's sort of the whole thing. And
I mean,
the cornerstone of Star Citizen's story was supposed to be that it's an evolving universe where players have impact on the evolution of that universe. So if that's the case, you can't just play the same thing over and over again. There has to be some things that are only done once.
Not only that,
Good.
Sorry. A good example of that would be, since we're already fighting an armed conflict, Paul's done a video on this, the Charon War effort.
Yeah.
We have two belligerents. You would have clearly players taking one of two sides, Acheron or Dylan, which are the two fighting factions fighting over one planet that the UE's trying to either make independent or, a fellow member of the Senate again. So that is going to create some big heartaches depending on who wins or loses that. That's going to be a really fun time. But I want to know, I'm wondering what kind of rewards we might get out of it. Because I'm almost expecting some Metal Gear like stuff out of it. Like war effects. Maybe you actually says you were served in this war and you were a wandering mercenary, stuff like that.
Fast Cart, you were going to say something?
I was gonna say you mentioned being a cornerstone. That's the cornerstone of Star Citizen period. The whole way at the beginning, get a ship at a super low price, and back in 2012, or wait until they increase price, or wait until it's in game proper. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Meg, do you have anything to weigh in on here? The question again was, do you feel like they should run missions at the main patch? Like, for instance, example, run all missions for 4.0 until 4.1 comes out instead of monthly or a point path?
I think I like the way you put it with having it run again at a future point. I don't mind. What's it called? The FOMO of, I mean, we're testing, so it sucks when it doesn't work for some people. Like badly, they won't get to participate in getting those rewards. But as long as it's nothing too crazy of a miss out, like the Ripper SMG kind of sucks because like how else are you getting that? But otherwise it's just like paints, decorations. It's like it's not that deep.
I kind of hope they sell the Ripper, maybe not in the original color.
Yeah.
Yo-yo. That would be the event exclusive version.
I can see that. All right, next question comes from Edison Trent, who asks, question: I understand the industry players feel like the combat players get it all, but as a large combat guy, we have not had viable large ship multi-crew combat for years. Do you guys think CIG will actively make multi-crew combat viable anytime this year, or will it not be for many years till we see the fighters' only viability choice be combined arms? Choice to combine arms. Till we see the fighters' only viability choice to combine arms. Basically, so that it expand the amount of options. Meg, since you participate in the Blood for the Blood God more often, what is your thoughts on this?
I'm trying to understand the question.
So the question is like, will CIG this year make big combat ships matter? So it's not just the fighter meta.
Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely a tough one. Cause like this is probably someone else's question, but like I've been hearing people talk about how they're hyped for the Perseus, and I'm like, for what? Like, what are you doing with that ship? I don't know. It's definitely tough. I hope that they add. I don't know. I don't participate in a lot of big ship stuff because it just feels weird. Like you have just a lot of small fighters everywhere, just swim or running in circles around you. So it's like, I don't know. There's not a lot of big ship fighting unless you pull like an Idris mission or something. I don't know how to answer the question. I apologize.
That's fine. I will say engineering. That's when we're going to see it. And I don't see engineering this year. So maybe we might get it. But I think like that's when the big ships become more viable, because at that point, when your ship light's on fire, you could send somebody to put out the fire. Whereas if you're on a fighter, it's a lot harder to put out a fire inside your ship while you're flying it. So it's just that sort of thing. Fast card.
I was gonna say I was dread tide beat me to what I was gonna say. Ask me that question again, Edison Trent, after I get my BMM and my Endeavor and sciences in the game. Yeah, just wait I'll answer then.
Because we don't, yeah, because like we're on version 3 or 5 of combat versus not even version 1 of, hauling.
Science.
Yeah, science, yeah. All right. That was the thing Edison asked it twice. Okay. It's Just Me Chill asks, do you think Fleet Week will have multiple military ships released to help with funding in the quote unquote feature drought? Invictus always has multiple ships.
Yeah.
There was always at least 2, sometimes 3 ships that are released at Invictus and at IAE. So usually it's a small ship. Or a starter ship, and then either a medium or large ship. Sometimes it's a small ship, a medium ship, and a large ship, but typically it's at least 2. And there's sometimes, and usually there's a third ship, which is a concept ship, and it's usually a larger ship, like medium.
This past IE was like rare because you had so many ships. They don't expect that every time.
Well, one of those was the Starlancer, which came out for CitizenCon. So that was like one of those.
Oh yeah, when are we going to get the Starlancer to build?
Yeah, that's a good question. Or the TAC.
That's not military, so not Invictus.
Yeah, TAC maybe, because TAC is the military one.
Is the more interesting of the two because it's basically like a better Redeemer, and it has a small support fighter.
It's better of the two depending on what you're looking for to do in the game.
Yeah. Jin does point this out, and this is something that's interesting, is that for a lot of the doom and gloom that I've seen about Star Citizen has had better funding this last couple of months than it has ever had. It has had the best start of the year in funding, period. So despite the issues, people are buying stuff, and it wasn't just like, oh, they're buying the Hornet. They had the best January they've ever had. And January had, I don't think it had a ship. There might have been a ship, but I can't remember. Oh, it was the.
Oh wow.
It was the Misfortune, but.
Oh yeah, Misfortune.
But was that?
Yeah, and then February they had the Super Hornet. So,
the Super Hornet.
But yeah, I'm looking at the funding thing. I didn't realize. Yeah, they're ahead for this year.
Yeah, they're ahead of even 2024 or 2023, I should say. So
that is crazy.
Considering what it's went on, yeah, it's pretty insane.
I still think the Perseus might be a Fleet Week direct release. I mean, it has to be, or at least an update about it, Paul. Within either a month or before or after Fleet Week, because we're probably going to get one of those ship infomercial ISC things on the Perseus.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's a little more than 5 minutes long, because it's like, why? It's a huge ship. It's 2 decks, right? Or is it 3? I think it's 3.
Oh, someone's pointing out that January had the Guardian, but I thought the Guardian was 4.0.
December.
Yeah.
Well, I think it rolled into January, but it started in December.
Was the official. Fat Fury was officially,
Someone also pointed out that there was we haven't had a sales. Get used to it. Every month is going to be a sale. They're going to have a new ship every month. I can feel it. I can feel it in the winds that's what they're going to do. They just have so many ships that they have been sitting on for months now. A lot of these ships, because if you watch the monthly reports, there's a lot of ships that there were in gray box at the end of last year, which we've never seen. That they just said, oh yeah, we have multiple ships in gray box, plus all of those ships they showed off on at CitizenCon. So ships are ships are ships. We're just going to get ships every month from now on. So
at the end of CitizenCon, they showed 16 ships. So
yeah,
they also showed
quite a few.
Kraken, which was tongue-in-cheek bad form, but okay, it's passable.
We could. I mean, CIG's got they're no longer a underfunded or understaffed ship team. Their ship team is now like 52, 53 people on it.
Let me see how many job openings they have.
And honestly, the Kraken has a small crew complement compared to the Polaris. The Polaris is like what, 20-ish?
Yeah. For full crew. And on top of that, the Kraken is also needs the Ironclad, and the Ironclad is definitely coming out this year. So I think that's the other thing when you mentioned the Perseus is like the Perseus is the big thing that was blocking the Perseus is the Polaris, because the Polaris was building all of the like art assets for large RSI ships. So now that that's done, those same corridors, those same doors, a lot of those same panels, all of that will be just rolled into the Perseus. So you'll see a lot of the Perseus will end up looking like a mini Polaris at the end of the day. So
yeah, I'm fine.
I'm looking at the CIG job search right now. They have 48 positions, and most of them are programmers. They have one AI designer, but I don't see any other too many other designers.
That AI designers for NPCs. So it's like traditional AI. I'm glad they did because they had like several AI designers before, and now they only have one, so which means they've hired a couple people, which is good. All right. Next question comes from Carlos R72, who asks, there are 5 deliverables in the progress tracker ending in May. Do you think we can expect an Evocati test for those by then? Engineering, life support, charge and drain, radiation, and FPS scanning. I'm going to take this point to stand on the soapbox and address everybody, because this is one of those things y'all who are watching need to know. Progress trackers is not when it's finished. Progress tracker, when it ends, that's when the current sprint ends for that thing. So it could be come April or May, they just add another 6 months to it because it's not done yet. Now, some of those things like life support, engineering, charge and drain, radiation, FPS scanning, all of those were supposed to come in 4.0. So the fact that they're still working on them through May may mean that they just are taking more time to fix it out, or it just it's taking them a little bit longer so they can test it. So yes, if the question is, do you think we'll see it in Evocati? We may see it in the ePTU, the new ePTU thing, where it's ready to go, it's ready to be tested, but it's not ready for live for prime time. So they just shift it over into its own sort of parallel live version, so you can play it and enjoy it and test it, but doesn't impact the live build. But I don't know. What are your thoughts on that axis? Do you think we're going to see engineering and its associated gameplay things in May?
It's debatable based on, like you said, just because the progress tracker ends at a certain date doesn't mean that it's going to be even rolled out to ePTU right away. They might do some internal hardening, internal testing to make sure it's go, no go for even ePTU. So you could even add 8 months to a year or more. And I hate to say it, but engineering, we want things to work right. You don't want to turn on a valve in a boiler room and have water come out, or something else that's not water,
Meg, any thoughts on, do you think we're going to see engineering in May?
It's March already. No.
Okay.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to predict April 31st, the 31st of April. Yes.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. CIG is going to invent a day just to release engineering.
Some people won't get that until you say something.
Yes, I know. I mean, I just said it something. I mean, if they still don't get it, it's their own fault.
This was an April Fool's Fest card.
Too early for that. All right, next question. We only got a handful of questions left. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 questions left. and we may have a few more coming in. Iris Dreadtide asks, if CIG wanted to regain some of the hype from the end of 2024, do you think they could do it with the release of a ship or several ships? Which would do it, or come close to doing it? Do you think the community is bribable with shiny, jingly ship keys? I'll start off.
Met the community?
I'm going to say, I'll start off with yes, 100% the community is bribable with ships. I don't know what community you like.
I wouldn't say 100, 99, 95%.
Well, it depends on the ship. I think it really depends on the ship because like the Sabres went over like a rock. They sunk. Now everyone's using the Firebird because they're broken, but the Firebird sail was just absolutely poo-pooed on, and then like the Peregrine was like a fart in a windstorm. It just disappeared right after it came out. So like I get what they're saying, but I think the question is basically what ships do you think CIG could release, or even into like say just say release that would get people hyped about the game again?
The Perseus really comes to mind because we've already seen it kind of in an ISC, the silhouette of it, the way they're going. But at the same time, we also have other ships possibly on the plate, like the Ironclad. There are a lot of haulers in the game, and people love the Caterpillar. There's a reason why the Ironclad is not only called the Iron Chad, but the Fatapillar. Because it looks like the freaking caterpillar, but it's bigger and better and stronger. The Apollo, another ship that's possibly winning the wings. Well, two versions, Medvac and the other one.
Triage. Thank you.
Triage, yes.
There is a cult following with the Apollo. There is enough people who love that ship to death and are waiting for that thing to come out. And when it comes out, you will hear nothing. You will see nothing but screenshots and videos and people praising that thing. I get why too, because it's the only ship that has a size 1. It'll be the first ship in game that has a size 1 bed, or a size 1 tier 1 bed. So
Tier 1, yeah.
So you'll be able to regen from anywhere. Into that.
May I also mention it has a very Federation-like design.
Oh yeah,
the Apollo does. It is freaking nacelles on the back end.
Yeah,
I love RSI's civilian design because it's Utopia Planitia from Star Trek. I love it.
Early. It's like basically like early Warp 5 complex before the NX class basically took over, but still kind of carried over to some of the later ship designs. There's something else I was forgetting. Oh, all these ground vehicle silhouettes we're seeing. Some of them are really strange. Like the big super Grey Cat Humvee looking thing. That actually looks pretty cool.
You talked about it last time, and there's one that was like that looks like the Atlas on steroids. And I thought,
it's like
but it looks legitimately. Let's see if I can pull it up here because it was posted on there, and I'll show everyone on the screen real quickly. This bad boy.
Show it.
Here, I'll pull it up here. So I'll show it on the screen real quick. This, that chunky boy. Who is this chunky lad? Where does he eat his beans? I would like to know this gentleman.
I have chunk envy. Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It looks like it has at least 12 wheels. That's got to be bigger than a Ballista.
Yeah, but I mean, it's clearly built on the same chassis as the Ballista. So it's like, what is this? Is this like the Spartan Deluxe or something? Like, for what purpose is that freaking bus?
Yeah, no.
I almost want to say command truck for ground force.
Oh, I can see that, especially if they have pinging and sensors working. You're gonna say something, Pascal?
Yeah, the Star Citizen is about to go full mech warrior. That thing. No, I was
Yes.
gonna. I wanted to say 3 ships. Uh, Axis took one of mine. He said the Ironclad.
Mhm.
I'm also gonna say the Starlancer build will bribe people, and the Pioneer will bribe even more people. How many people got bribed in the last IE because of that thing?
Oh yeah.
Ironclad, yeah.
Or the well, I'm blanking on it.
I'm also going to
the
steal
Pioneer.
from
The
you.
Pioneer, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Pioneer. Yeah.
I'm
Um,
also going to steal from you, Fast Cart, the whole mech warrior thing you mentioned, because those atlases were surprisingly popular. People like mech suits.
if
So
if CIG
Um,
dropped the Titan suit, the combat version of the
oh my God.
ATLS, I first off, I wouldn't shut up. I would be a jabbering monster the entire time. Every post you'd see online, every video would be like, "Hey, they have mechs in Star Citizen now. Star Citizen is now actually good because it actually has a mech in it. Let's go." Even though it's
I
not
know
really a
people.
mech and whatever, but yeah, I would
Right.
100%.
I,
That would be an easy hype machine right there. Drop a Titan suit and drop it along the same time as the monster hunting thing. Wow, people would just now it is time for me to hunt monsters in giant power armor. Like, come on. What that is
I,
sci-fi to its core.
Ripper gun,
you're right.
please.
I know. I know I'm in the minority, and people are gonna hate me for saying this, but I would easily drop 150 on that thing. I don't care. I don't
I
care.
kind of agree. Like, I think that's easy. I think it's an easy $100 thing at the very least. But Meg, what ships would you? Let's put it this way: what ships do you think would make people really kind of build the hype back for Star Citizen?
I'd probably say anything that is from like the 10-year backlog. I think
Okay.
10 years, like BMM, Genesis Starliner,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
stuff back there. I know the gameplay isn't in game, but
Yeah.
stuff that people have been waiting for.
Idris.
Oh
That's
God.
old.
Oh, okay. This is my conspiracy theory on the Idris. CIG said
Uh-oh.
they wouldn't release the Idris until Squadron 42 comes out. I think what they're going
Right.
to do is they're going to release it when Squadron 42 is announced. The actual date is announced. They'll release it that patch.
Thank God I have a P.
So like if it's, October 3rd, 2026, that day they announce that it's going to be October 3rd, 2026, they'll release the Idris for people who have it. So because that would build hype inside the community as well. So
It's an old chip. And then they give us a timeline on the Javelin. Like at SitCon, like, okay, the John Crew doing his thing, right? It's like, I'm sure a lot of you all would love to hear our progress on the Javelin. Well,
that is
it's
that is
just in
that
its
is that is the best
pre-production.
John Crew impression I've ever heard. Please keep doing it.
I'm
I'm
terrible.
being facetious, but I do want you to keep doing it because it's funny. Because John would find it funny too.
John would probably hunt me down and hurt.
Someone clip it and send it to him.
Yes. All right. Next question comes from Iris Dreadtide, who asks, "Am I being cynical with that question? Yes. Have I any shame for it? No. You're not wrong. I will say the phenomena of ships is a weird thing. If I do like a video for like a lore video on a ship, it categorically does better than anything else I do. If I do a captain's table just focused on ships, it will be the biggest captain's table of the year, and we're gonna do it eventually.
I would be on that show.
Yeah. So like Star Citizen fans love spaceships, and spaceships is the cornerstone of the game. So it's not it wouldn't be surprising if CIG used that to try to build back hype up. So
Oh, I want to add to my answer to the previous question.
Go ahead.
Humble Ranger.
ooh, yeah, that's another one.
Ooh.
I think that's also like a 10-year one. I think that's been around for a very long time.
Yeah, a long time.
So
Yeah. Might also add a variation of the Ranger. Anything to do with the Ranger.
Mhm.
Say they make a trike or a sidecar version.
Mhm.
That just add to the mythos of the Ranger. Just add to it. People would buy,
I
because you have the Ranger TR, RC, and the God,
No, that's humble.
Fast Cart could be a co-host for the show. Fastcart already is co-host for all of Star Citizen. Did you not know that Fastcart is an official ambassador of Star Citizen and is in fact the Neelix of Star Citizen?
That's me.
I'm glad you don't run away from it anymore.
I just had I had yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and Citizen Ninja is also bringing it up that the amount of people in that one SCL who were hyped about the Perseus silhouette being showing up, and the Star Kitten armor set. Any of those two things, Star Kitten, anything, people hype about it. So
I just want to know
who said the community isn't viable?
Yeah.
Not this guy.
All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 questions left. This question is from Trouble Magnet, who asks, people seem to be confusing features and content. We're going to see less new features as they try to fix bugs. What new content, missions, ships, locations, etc., would you like to see fill in for lack of new features?
Tough one.
I'd like the Aaron Halo to be fleshed out because it's there. But we like to be able to explore it more. Go ahead, Meg.
No, yeah, I was just gonna say something completely different. So if you had anything else, my bad.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say medical missions to revive NPCs.
Yes.
We've been able to do it. We've been able to do it. So it's there. Mm-hmm. I don't think they need to add anything other than probably the mission itself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because we were talking with somebody in chat earlier, and someone mentioned that to Elliot, and Elliot apparently, all caps, responded with you know how hard that is. It's but it's literally what people want, Elliot. It's one of the biggest things people want. They want to be Trauma Team, So
if they're dropping Apollo, they definitely should add something.
Well, not just the Apollo, they also added the Terrapin, medical Terrapin. If they come on. And they added the ability for not only NPCs to be revived, but for NPCs to revive you too if they wanted to. It's in their code, so it's
Okay.
Go ahead, Oscar.
So I have 2 answers. They could try to introduce and I know go with me, something they talked about a long time ago. Way back in 2015, they could introduce Data Ball.
Yeah. I'm gonna change my opinion to my other thing because Serious Fun actually picked. I'm a long time, very disappointed, but very long time fan of Payday, and CIG teased me with Payday style missions with the data heist missions, and Serious Fun says bank heists with branching outcomes depending on RNG police responses. Star Citizen versions of Heat. Just give me a Payday. Give me Star Citizen mission that is just Payday, where I have to case out a location, break in, deal with civilians, break into a vault, get the vault, get out. GTA heist missions, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They kind of already have some of that with the security post-Korea stuff, but Axis, what
I just have one question. When we play, can I be George Clooney?
You already are George Clooney.
Thank you.
Axis, same question for you. What new content, ships, missions, locations, etc., would you like to see to fill in the gap for new features?
I have 3. Okay. So on the largest scale, we're going to obviously get new solar systems and new places in these solar systems. Starting with Pyro, everyone has noticed there's been some level of change to every system that's come out. They're being more adapted to the modern game environment. Pyro changed a lot in development. So I think we need to expect a little bit of change going forward with every system. They're not all going to be just static, lifeless places. They're going to have, obviously, space stations, content locations in them. A lot of people forget this because They seem space is big. Well, space is big, but it also has things.
Mhm.
On the mid-size, landing zones are going to get expanded, and they're going to have missions in them. This has been talked about for a while. We saw some of this at CitizenCon this year, where they talked about the depths and the municipal works on ArcCorp.
Mhm.
That's the starting of incorporating missions within the landing zones and expanding out the landing zones. But I might want to add a little bit more to that. They talked about building out these building interiors. There's so many buildings in every landing zone.
Mhm.
And
That's kind of new features, though.
yeah, we've needed. There are going to be offices for mission givers.
But the question is,
like,
what new ships, locations?
That's what I'm
or
talking
missions?
about. These are going to become new locations.
Yeah, but
that we
but
can't
it includes a
access.
feature which we don't have is the issue, because we're not going to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The question is
I
like
think I
what for this year, what new ships, missions, and locations would you expect?
Well, for this year, I'm hoping they open up at least some of the. For 4.1, I noticed they mentioned a mission giver. We don't know which one it is or a
Yeah,
location.
good acted.
Yeah. We don't know.
I'm wondering if it's going to be in a landing zone or in a different star system. We don't know.
True.
I mean-
but I don't think we're going to get a new star system with 4.1.
No, it's not going to be 4.1.
Yeah,
That would be
4.1.
a little crazy, but
That's when the new mission givers in 4.1. It's on that
Hmm.
it's on that branch. So
But I'm
I have
curious.
Okay.
I have another one.
go ahead.
I was curious about the CSV FM. Does that count as a feature to have that ship added and get like a tiers? I mean, already
It's-
have fabrication, but like a tier 0 to base building, or just like
Hmm.
building something.
I think it's probably still it's still features with like
Okay.
base building stuff. But
I mean, even if
Yeah.
it can't make static,
I could
base building.
Yeah, you could still do it as like fabrication. Just do the stuff that we already have. Fabricate the stuff we already
Mhm.
have. I could see that. So,
Yeah.
all right. Next question. Escape asks, question: brainstorm. How could CIG have executed the quote plot twist unquote storyline better? How would you have liked to see it run? Escape is probably, because I actually kind of talked about this in a stream recently, where what CIG needed to make this work better is the missions needed to have worked, but even if those were working perfectly, they needed some sort of initial sit down. The Ticia Pacheco situation, where you go to Ticia, you sit down, she talks with you, you have a back and forth, and then you go out, you get sent off to go do your first mission. Kind of same thing with Miles Eckhart and Clovis, Darnley, and Wallace, and all at Wallace Klim. They all have that sort of initial meet, and then you kind of go off on their own mission chains. We needed an initial meet for all of the major factions, the Frontier Fighters, the CFP, and the Headhunters. With the advantages is that those people could easily become reoccurring mission givers that you could use for other purposes. So now you have those assets and those locations set up there. But having some sort of area where you walk in, it's instanced, you sit down and you talk with the faction liaison, and they kind of give you a spiel about what the faction's about to help you understand. At that point, they could have easily sort of indicated that the Frontier Fighters and the Slicers were similar or the same, with clever wordplay. And CIG can do pretty good writing for dialogue and stuff like that. We've all seen the prologue for Squadron 42, so we know they have the ability to. The question is more how, and using that sort of thing. But they needed more context. Without the context and without the setting up of each of the factions, nobody cared. It was just about, I want my skin, sort of situation. Anybody else? What do you think? How would you fix the plot twist situation?
More smugness. More
More
smugness,
s-
definitely.
More smugness.
No. Maybe working data pads.
Working data pads. Fixing the missions, right?
Yeah.
That's a novel idea.
All right. Let's go through. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 more questions. Escape asks, What the hell is even pressurized ice? It's ice under pressure. I think pressurized ice is. A real
I was
thing.
thinking the same thing. Thank you.
It's supposed to be a commodity, right?
So
maybe it's ice taken from a gas giant. I don't know. Ice giant. I don't know.
Okay, so maybe it has to do. I looked up this thing. It goes regulation. It's a phenomena of ice melting under pressure, then freezing when the pressure is reduced. This can be demonstrated by looping a fine wire around a block of ice and with a heavy weight attached to it. The pressure exerted by the ice slowly melts it locally, permitting the wire to pass through the entire block. The wire track will refill as soon as the pressure is relieved, so the ice block will remain intact even after the wire passes through it completely. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Yeah. So, ice that is stressed out because it is behind several projects at work. Ice can also form under heat and pressure. Okay. Because science. Yeah. All right. I think it's good enough answers. Let's move on to the next question. This is from Escape, who asks, how is Meg on the cello? You play the cello?
No.
No.
Is that like a yo-yo? Is that Yo-Yo Ma or something?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I'm not good on cello, but I'm killer on trombone.
There we go. Bundo asks, question: do you think the crafting system is going to be a prerequisite? Is going to be prerequisite based or no? I think the question is like, is it going to require something else to do it?
Crafting.
Like get
what would it require?
I don't know. If the question is skills, no. I don't think
you're I don't think skills. You need materials. That's a prerequisite.
And a ship or some sort of vehicle or some sort of like tool.
I don't think they're gonna lock it behind having to complete part of the main story like in Skyrim, where you get to your first village and you can access a crafting area.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not gonna be it. I don't think so.
Actually, I'm gonna tell you my answer. It may not require a ship because you just have a crafting table and a facility.
Yeah. Well, I think the way that they're going to do it is through like their magic fabricators, and those magic fabricators are likely going to be like there probably be facilities where you can go to use like public versions of the fabricators so you can fabricate stuff. But yeah. All right, 1, 2, we have 4 questions left. 3 questions left because Shimpasta complained. Okay, this one is for Fastcart, from Fastcart, who asks, Fastcart, speaking of grinding, how do you kill that which has no life?
You need the Slayer of the Lifeless and the Sword of the Thousand Truths, obviously.
Thank you, Fastcart.
And that showed up from Omega.
Make love, not
thank you.
Yeah, make love, not Warcraft. Tompificated asks, what does it mean that you have? What does it mean to you that there is a main branch that they're focusing on for stability and features features being developed off the main branch? So, I am not an expert in software development. I simply study a lot of this stuff because I'm stupid and I like following these sorts of things. The way that I understand how software development works is that there's typically a big file, a big master file that people work on. It's not functional for your typical person. Your typical person couldn't access Star Citizen's raw data and make any sense of it. You might be able to pull things out here and there, but like it's going to be filled with test levels and a bunch of other shit that's just there for them testing out to see if things work. And they will then fork off of that to release something that is actually playable that players can play, which has new features and stuff like that. typically that fork happens with major patches, but we haven't had a fork off the main patch since 4.0, since actually 324. So 324 was that fork off of the main patch, and they haven't done a new fork since then. So anything they've developed inside the in-house for Star Citizen or Squadron 42 hasn't been added to a fork because they haven't just sat down, compressed it all, and put it into a build so that they can then build from that branch. I keep saying fork, and Jins keep telling me branch. You have a main branch, and then you have a branch. You have a side branch. GitHub's wiki is pretty good at explaining this process as well. Okay.
Thank you for that, Paul. I cannot wait until we get spoons. How about sporks? Can we get sporks?
Sporks. It's like the main branch. You can think of it as like a trunk of a tree, and the branches are the ones that come out. And so the main trunk is not usable. But when they create a branch like 4.0, 4.1, 4.2, those are the ones where they have the latest updates from the trunk into the branches. So
we should make like a tree and get out of here.
So to answer the question, what does it mean? It just means that CIG has done a bunch of work on the game that hasn't been released to players yet. And there's not going to be any desire for them to do so because the fixes that they've done and the additions they've added into that main trunk will break the game if you try to play it. Because again, that main trunk isn't playable. It's not a game. It's just stuff that's there that's glued together so that the developers can see if something works. You don't actually get the game until they branch it.
All of that junk in the trunk.
All right, we got two more questions from Jay Grizz and from It's Me Chili. So Jay Grizz asks, when do you think we're going to give us black paint? They would clean up if they added black paint for all ships.
You go ahead, Paul.
Fastcart, I believe this question is for you. Oh, Ambassador
When
of Star
would they give us
Citizen, Mr.
black
Black
paint?
Jurassic.
February, sometime February might be nice. I've been asking for a black constellation black forever. They gave the constellation emerald.
Hey, I like it. I mean, to answer the question, some of them do. Like the Freelancer has a black paint.
The Mercury has some black paint, but they're not being sold or available anymore. They had like I can't think of the name of the Meridian, look blackish, but yeah, it's not available anymore, unfortunately.
I don't like their current system. I'm gonna be honest. Their current paint system sucks. Give us the ability to paint our own ships, whatever we want. I'm hoping that's what Crafton's coming in, but. Okay, I'm ending this because I just saw New Soul asking a question, and I'm like, that's the end question. It's the last question.
I just saw the question.
Yeah. So It's Just Me Chill asks, when do you think the Starfarer will be able to gather fuel from Crusader? I couldn't tell you. Axis, any idea?
What's that?
When do you think the Starfarer will be able to gather fuel?
That's a good well, refueling really hasn't been a focus for a while.
It does work.
So
we
it
tested
does
it.
work, but we're talking about absorbing gas like from a fuel scoop, right?
Yeah.
From the atmosphere of Crusader, refining it and then using it. So that might take some more mechanics to do. We don't know.
Meg, when do you think we're going to see refueling?
I have zero idea.
Okay.
Okay.
Ascart? I was going to say.
I have two predictions here.
Okay.
The first is November 31st, and my second is February 30th, 2025.
February.
Thank you for CIG again. Is Fastcard has this amazing ability that CIG has power over the calendar and can invent brand new days out of the.
Hey, if we give them enough money, they can.
All right. So the last two questions, because they came in at the last moment. Essential Asa asks, will the C2 be available before the end of March? Essentially, you're asking about the ship for sale or in game? Because I think the C2 is already available in game.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not for sale at the moment.
That's weird because I thought it was for sale. Let me go.
I said maybe. I don't know. I'm looking it up right now.
Clickety clacks.
With the keyboard.
Yes. It's flight ready.
And yeah, it's been flight ready. It's been in the game forever, but I don't know. I don't know if it's on sale still.
Not for sale, as far as I can tell.
Okay, so maybe. Well, it's a civilian model, so it won't be on sale for Invictus Fleet. So maybe IAE, unless they have some kind of thing in between now and then.
I'm surprised they didn't have it for sale now with Supplier Die.
Yeah, especially with Supplier Die.
It's a big target.
Yeah, the only ones that are available are the M2.
Yeah, you see the numbers though of stuff you have to move. It's like 2,500 SCU.
Yeah, it's huge numbers.
Really?
696 is nothing.
Yeah.
How huge?
All right, wait.
Don't fall into the trap, Meg. You know you don't want to fall in the trap. It's Fastcard.
Get somebody every single time.
But I'm surprised. I'm looking at it right now. It's the Hercules, the M2, the Intrepid, the C1, the Ion, and the Inferno. That's the only. Oh, and the A1 and the A2. The A2 and the M2 are for sale, but the C2 isn't. What?
Don't know. Yeah, news to me.
That's kind of weird.
I mean, that's a legitimate question. So they're asking when the C2. I'm guessing, if not before IAE, some kind of special thing between now and then, some event maybe.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's not always for sale because if of all of the Hercules, I'd expect that one to always be available, and then the M2 and the A2 to be special sales for them. But I want to say both of them are available in game though. You just
it might be because. It may be because the C2 price maybe at sweet spot and it collides with other ships. I don't know.
Maybe
it's 400, right? So the claim is 400 too. So they're trying to keep maybe they just want to keep one ship at that price range on the list at all times to reclaim it.
Yeah. So I don't know if it'll be available for the end of March. It might be available for Stellar Fortuna if they do it. Because Stellar Fortuna is their St. Patrick's Day sale. So. All right, last question. This is an open-ended for everybody from New Soul, who asks, for all to answer, how long?
I'm going to give the answer. I have two answers for this one.
Okay.
Okay, so 3 to 5. It's a compromise, obviously. And probably between 6 and 9. Thank you, Nuso. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I will say extended edition. Axis?
I don't even know what. Okay, so
think of the funniest answer you could give to how long. Just think of the funniest. It's not a serious question. Don't think about it too much.
I don't know. Where's the exit door?
Okay. Meg, how long?
It's not the length that matters.
It'll be until June 31st. Final answer, June 31st.
With that, thank you for joining us here on the Captain's Table of this After Dark session. We really got After Dark after that.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Don't forget our giveaway tomorrow on Soul Citizen for the 5th anniversary. Go to twitch.tv/Soul Citizen or go to our YouTube channel on Soul Citizen. And yes, check it out. We're starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight UTC for our 5th anniversary show.
There we go. So, with that being said, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. Thanks to Access, Yo-Yo Meg, and Fastcard for coming on. I kind of forgot that I hadn't set up the schedule for this month, so I desperately yesterday asked an Access step forward, and then Fastcard was like, "Oh yeah, I can get some people." So Fastcard roped in Meg, and so we were able to talk and get this thing going. This is again should be the second full video that we've done exclusively on the YouTube for the Captain's Table podcast YouTube. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Like the video to help spread the word, and hit the bell icon to be notified when these release. And as always, I want to hear your thoughts on any of these questions down below. Make sure you check out Soul Citizens, check out Yo-Yo Meg on Twitch, at Access0096 on Twitch as well. And check us out live at twitch.tv/theastropub, youtube.com/the Captain's Table podcast at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We'd love to have you come on and join the cast and ask your own question as well. Thank you for joining us. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.